Welcome to Design Sips. It's Wednesday. Cheers.
Cheers.
Ding.
Why don't you tell everyone what you're sipping on today, Sandra?
I can't believe it's Wednesday already. Mm-hmm. B, I can't believe it's 4 o'clock on Wednesday already. Is it 3 o'clock or 4 o'clock?
4.
Who knows? It's a time warp. Who cares? Whatever. We're drinking. I don't know, Babbage? Marlboro Sauvignon Blanc. Anyway, it's crisp. It's refreshing.
Yes, it's so good.
Pandemic perfect. Damn it. All right. Let's do it, people. One more sip for a good measure since we are in a pandemic.
Yes, and hello to all the designers joining us.
Hi, designers. What's going on, guys? How's your week going? Is it flying by like it's flying by for me? I feel like the whole world is in fast wind. Can't figure it out. The days just go.
Quarantine has been almost 5 months.
Are you kidding?
Isn't that crazy?
No.
Yeah.
Dear God. I just did the math.
At least here in New Jersey, we've been on quarantine.
Yeah. We were in the front end and we just keep it coming. Yeah. But, there's a lot of silver linings, and totally. I hope that all your family is healthy and well, and that your frontline loved ones are staying strong, goodness knows. But there has been a lot of silver linings, as we know. Lots of self-reflection, lots of things to think about, lots of deep thoughts.
Yes.
Many deep thoughts, which, I love that.
Yes, Sandra's been thinking a lot about the business, and we're here to share.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. So I don't know if you know this about me, but I'm obsessed with systematizing things, and I can't ever leave anything alone. So we're going to share with you all of what we've learned over the 20 years in this industry, and all of what we've learned with our lifelong passion for taking courses and going to conferences and reading books and learning always. And then secretly behind the scenes, we are cooking up some new stuff that I just don't even know. I can't barely keep it contained, but I don't have enough formation around it to start talking about it yet, but holy mackerel. So anyway, keep us in your inbox so you can see what's happening as we unroll the next big phase.
Yes, and where can people get on your list if they want to stay up to date?
So you can check us out at houseoffunk.com and then click on that trade tab, and that is where the design world is all meeting and collaborating and learning and sharing and all rising together.
Yeah.
That is the goal.
One thing you'll see is past episodes of Design Sips, and if you're new here, Design Sips is our weekly to monthly show.
Yes. Did I mention I'm Sandra Funk from House of Funk Interior Design. This is Design Sips, our sometimes monthly, sometimes weekly show all about the business side of interior design, where we drink wine on Wednesday afternoons because we can't believe it's already Wednesday at 4, and we chat about everything that we could ever think about with the business of design. And the beautiful thing about Design Sips is that it's a great time for you to post your questions, and we love, even if we take us off topic, we love to know what you're wondering about, and if you post a question, I'm very likely to share an answer.
Yes, definitely. So comment your questions and we'll make sure to answer them. So let's dive into today's topic. We are talking about social media marketing.
Social media marketing. Has anyone been doing any of that lately?
Yeah.
Obsessed. Okay, so we all know that engagement is way up, right? Eyeballs are way up because people are home. But algorithms are wonky, and we go through these phases of growth and these phases of stagnation, and really at the end of the day, the point of social media is not numbers in and of itself. It's to get more eyeballs on your business, to get more people on your list, to get more clients signed up for what you offer. So that, we have to keep that always in mind, right? It's really easy to get waylaid by the number of likes, the number of comments, and the number of followers, but that is totally irrelevant. Unless you're becoming an influencer who is charging money to hold products in your hand, it's a different business model, and it's that's a wholly completely different thing.
Yeah.
Okay.
But I love your little formula of the social media means the goal is to get people on your list to then show people your services. So we're going to dive deep into social media today and then email marketing next week.
Awesome.
But if someone just heard that for the first time, why don't you break it down a little bit?
Okay. So So this is basically, social media is basically a funnel. So what I always love to say is that we use our beautiful images from projects that we've done, or little flat lays or little vignettes, wherever you are in your career, you can definitely get some visuals, pictures of yourself. You have to be the face of your brand. And you put them out on social media, be it Facebook or Instagram, or Pinterest is a great one for eyeballs. And these are like little snacks that you put out into the onto the web, and they catch people's attention, right? Pictures are worth 1,000 words. So they catch people's attention, and if you can get them to take a little interest in your snack, they might click on it and end up getting into your world. So that might be check out link in bio, that might be a rich pin on Pinterest that takes you back to your website. Whatever that is, it brings them into your world and one step closer to understanding what it is that you offer. So it's getting to know you, then getting to like you, then getting to trust you. I mean, we could unpeel this onion a million ways, but basically the way I think of it is social media is like a lassoing new eyeballs into my brand, right? And then I try to get them to my website. My website then has opt-ins that, in exchange for their email address, give them something special, some little extra bit of upgraded content. And then, so they're getting to know me then. Getting to know me is on social, getting to like me is when they're interacting with my brand and saying, yes, I'll give you my email address for this guide to X or this quiz or whatever. And then trust is when they start reading those monthly email newsletters and they really start to get to know you and your own personal voice. That's kind of my inner sanctum, right? If you're on my email newsletter list, you're on the inner circle. I speak really freely in those newsletters. It's content that doesn't often get shared anywhere else. It's fun. It's really free and really laid back and honest. And so once you can get someone onto that email list and they're in that inner sanctum, you're building trust. And then when it's time to finally say to them, and here's the product or the service or the whatever that I offer, they've gone through the process of know, like, and trust. Again, social, website, newsletter list, okay? So if you can start to think about it that way, that everything that you do becomes strategic and intentional, and it's not just blasting for the sake of blasting or like hopping on to stay relevant. Relevant to whom? If it's not driving someone to becoming your client, who cares, right?
Cheers.
Hit me with a heart if you're like, thank you for the clarification.
Love it. And it's so, so true. I mean, how many times do we see, and we've done this, I think, in the beginning of just posting with no strategy in mind.
Yes.
But now we've really honed it in and we're excited to share all our tips.
Yes. And it's so funny because we all start with, you're supposed to be blogging, you're supposed to have a newsletter, you're supposed to be on social media. But until you get the why behind it and you get strategic about it, it's just a waste of time, frankly.
Yeah.
And I still find myself, it's meant to be addicting. It is designed. I just unbuttoned my shirt. Sorry, guys. Just kidding. We're not doing that. I seriously did. Accidentally. I can still get pulled into the rabbit hole of spending time on social media, scrolling and liking. What is that doing for me? Nothing. I mean, if I'm curating, if I'm looking for new content, I'm looking for new artists or new makers or whatever for content, fine. I definitely like to do that and stay relevant, but you can just get lost, right? And so we've got these amazing tips and techniques to keep you strategic, and not just down random rabbit holes.
Yeah, definitely. So why don't we start with while you were starting to market your business, when was the moment you realized, like, okay, I really need to start doing social media and put like a real plan in place?
So I think this realization came even before social media was a thing. But what came to me was that marketing is not going to fall in my lap. I'm going to have to be intentional about it. So way back in the beginning of my career, it was 2001. And I had just left finance and consulting, business process consulting, all of that. And I was getting my feet wet working at Ethan Allen as a designer. So I was going to design school at night. I was working on the showroom floor by day, waiting for my next up. I know there's like this whole tribe of Ethan Allen graduates out there. Hello. Great training. And I somehow got plucked. Thank you, Manhattan, just a land of opportunity, literally. I got pulled out of the group and asked to do Joy Behar's home office on The View. And of course, who says no? And I was so excited. And so I go through this whole thing, 6 months of design and putting it together and getting the stuff installed and getting the room ready and new window treatments and this and that and blah, blah, blah. And talking with the producers and filming and just so exciting, like a literal dream. And I go on The View and I'm sitting there, I'm talking to Barbara Walters and Joy Behar and the whole crew is there. And I just, so overwhelming, so cool. But here's the crazy thing. They're like, Sandra Funk, interior designer, here she is. And then crickets. Like, it's not like you're going to get this one big thing published, or you're going to get this one TV appearance, or you're going to get this one big whale client who knows a lot of people, and they're going to make your career. You're going to make your career one day at a time, one step in front of the other, over and over and over again. That was 2001. I didn't start my own firm officially until 2005. And I have been marketing strategically year after year after year to finally be able to say that we now consistently have potential clients coming in, consistently have interest in our brand, but it has taken me a long time. And I had this funny opportunity, right? I had this funny moment where I had a lot of exposure really early, and that does not a career make, is the essential story behind it. And so one of the things that I did very early in, I guess it wasn't even early. I think I took this big online marketing course. It was like a big investment to me at the time, and it felt like a very big obligation around 2012, maybe 13. And that is when I really started to understand the strategy behind it, and it clicked in the why. And so that's what I'm trying to kind of convey to you here. So then around 2013, I took that course. We're here this many years later, and certainly the social media in our business, the consistency, the level of quality, the newsletters, the branding, all the things, there's a lot to tie in, and it takes time and consistency. So there's no point in worrying about what already happened. Start now, make a plan, and follow through. And we're going to show you exactly how to make a plan that's easy to follow through. You're not going to be thinking about social media and what am I going to post today, day in and day out. You're going to make a strategic plan, and then you're going to batch that work so that you're not running around like a chicken with your head cut off every day trying to challenge yourself to post something interesting. That would be a whole big waste of time.
Yeah, exactly.
Right?
And cheers to that.
For wine. Cheers to wine.
And to our TBT The View moment. Still so cool.
Oh my God. Yeah, we have to put a link to there's like a million hundred year, again, it's like a 19-year-old YouTube video. Mm-hmm. I literally had to pay someone to convert it from my VHS tape. Like I have the ABC VHS tape.
That's awesome.
Because no one had a VHS thing anymore, and my kids really didn't believe me that I'd been on television. Yeah. So I had to have it converted. So it's like buried in our YouTube page somewhere.
It's on our YouTube page,
hysterical. I mean, hysterical.
No, it's really cute. Really cute.
Way back. It was like baby Sandra. Anyway, good times.
Yes.
Go check that out. Laugh at my expense. And know that wasn't like a gateway to anything amazing. That was like that, and then crickets. And then I built my brand.
Yeah.
That's really how it went.
So why don't we jump into content of social media for designers? Yes. I know there's probably some out there like, ugh, what do I even post? Like, I don't want to keep posting the same portfolio images. What do I even link to? So why don't we start, I think this is one of the best things we've ever implemented, which is evergreen content, starting at our blog, really. So why don't you tell us what evergreen means and how we use it?
So evergreen content is content that's relevant any time of year, and hopefully year after year. So one of the things that we do is we'll write content with the intention of it being available to use at any time. We'll also really try to write, like when we were writing the standard, our Business of Interior Design course that you can take online, we were really, really cognizant to make sure that we didn't say, I've been in business for 14 years, because we didn't want to re-record and rewrite everything every single year. We didn't want to say, 2020 is whatever we thought we were going to say about 2020. Thank God we didn't say that. But we were really careful to make something that would last the test of time, because we didn't want to start over again every year at the beginning. And we think that way about all of our content as well. Just like we want our designs to be timeless, we really want them to last as long as the client wants to have our design in their home. We want our content to last, and just to be able to, like, a lot of times the content is consistent. We'll give a little update. We'll do some little zhuzhing there. We always change our hashtags because the algorithms are going bananas, and then pop in a new picture. But a bedroom is a bedroom is a bedroom is a bedroom, and it should always be a retreat and a sanctuary and a place of rest. So you don't have to write that caption every time fresh. Okay, that's what I'm saying. There's all kinds of things like that.
And even having a running list of, okay, these are all the blog posts that are evergreen and that I can pull from once a week or once a month, and just have them slotted. And a great example is 7 questions to ask an interior designer.
Yes.
We recently posted this on our feed, and it got a ton of link clicks, and we posted that, I think, 2 years ago.
Exactly. Yes. And one of those again, we wrote a post, put our blood, sweat, and tears into it, had it SEO keyworded by our web developer, thank you, Nicole, so that it really had legs when it wanted to get out there. And then now we might update an image, we just check the links, we make sure we're good, but that's always relevant, right? Who to hire first? Do you start with the builder? Do you start with the architect? Do you start with the designer? It's one of those that we saw the need for our clients to have that question answered. And it's a really fun way for us to kind of explain our process as well. It allows us to weave ourselves into the story, of course. So it's a beautiful post for potential clients to check out, and it's a question they're actually thinking about if they're considering a renovation or a build.
Yeah, definitely. And we had someone comment, will this be posted later on your feed? And
yes, so we post this in the IGTV, and then eventually it makes its way to our YouTube channel.
Yes, and you can catch up on all our latest episodes on YouTube.
Yes, I did hear from one person once that they binge watched Design Sips.
Yes.
I laughed for hours. I was like, really? There must be something better on. But okay, we try. Thank you. Thank you for watching.
Definitely.
Yeah, so good.
Okay, so why don't you share the type of content that House of Funk posts to your feed? So, what's the makeup?
Yeah. So the makeup so let's use Instagram, kind of our baby right now. Even though we have so many more eyeballs on Pinterest than we do Instagram, we just don't have this proprietary feeling of ownership over them the way that somehow Instagram has cultivated. Good job, marketing Instagram people. So Pinterest is one of the ones I love because it's such a direct click over to the website, where Instagram, it's link in bio and let me get you in there and find it. So think about Pinterest a little bit more, with a little bit more loving in your heart. Just a thought. And then, but Instagram is where we intentionally curate. So Instagram is, if it's a design image, it's 99.9% probably our personal work, unless we are very specifically giving kudos to a fellow designer or pointing out some very specific thing in that image that somehow is relevant to what's going on in the world and timely. So again, 99.9% of the time, any design work on our feed is going to be our own work. I have to say, I don't have a problem at all with people being inspired by others, but when your whole feed, every image doesn't have anything that you've done on it, I just wonder how that's playing. Does that make sense? So the other thing that we do in that feed is we curate artists, we curate musicians, we curate philanthropy, we curate food, lifestyle, clothing, hats are
home
a big
decor,
thing for me. Home decor, objects, beautiful towels, great sheets, shoes. So we're really kind of speaking to our ideal client, right? So I'm kind of giving them the full 360 on who I am and what I'm drawn to so that they can understand if we're a fit. That's really the whole thing. Like, I'm trying to show them who I am, both with my own work and with a curated group of objects that have been selected. Again, I'm going to go back to my 99.9% of the time. 99.9% of the time, those things are not on my feed because I am getting an affiliate link or payment for it. It's literally me promoting others in the artistic industry, or a great, eco-friendly clothing line, or, a beautiful group of people that's doing good works in the world. So it is literally to be a mirror of who I am. That is the point. You are not trying to mirror who your ideal client is. You are trying to show them who you are. Now, you're going to scale the price point of what you select to your ideal client, but you're going to select it to mimic who you are. Make sense? So just because I can't afford insert Lamborghini here doesn't mean that if that was my aesthetic, I wouldn't show that on my page. I would not show a Lamborghini. But anyway, not a car person. From Detroit, not a car person.
Yeah.
It's confusing. I don't know. All right, so does that make sense? Give me a little yes if you think so.
Yeah.
Yep?
Yeah,
Good?
I think that definitely makes sense. And just saying, like, we know a lot of designers, they just post their portfolio images and they have huge portfolios, but there's other things you can post that show your aesthetic and your style.
Yes. Mm-hmm. Also, when you do curate and start to share the love a little bit, it also helps with your reach, right? Because if you're curating a beautiful artist's work, and or a florist, we love curating floral. If you're sharing a florist or an artist's work on your feed, they're very likely to share that to their story and say, hey, thanks for sharing my work. And then that ends up in their audience world, who maybe you're just curious enough that they click on you. And I'm not gonna lie, have an Instagram handle that's interesting, right? If you can, really, because that's what they're gonna see, right? They're gonna see a little something and then your title. So just think about how all of those things play out.
Yeah, definitely. And another thing we do is we post testimonials, quotes, holidays, just to fill in and create some nice white space and things like that.
Exactly. So kind of the mix then is that white space, which we love. And all in our colors and all in our fonts, right? All branded to reflect our firm. And that gives breathing room to the feed. So we shifted gears recently because we were like all portfolio all the time, just and then like picture of me, and then event I was going to be in, and it gets really visually heavy because each image is so rich. They're showing this like corner of a room that is layered and interesting, and so when we look at it as a scroll through, does this look compelling? Each image was super compelling, but does it scroll well? So you have to decide, what are you going for? For the first, 7 years on Instagram, we were going for the image at that moment to be compelling. We're looking at now, what do we look like when you scroll the page? I think it's an evolution. It's, and I'm not saying we won't evolve back, but right now that's kind of where we are.
Yeah.
More of a curated, worldly, inclusive feel.
Yeah, and it's coming out. It's dripping out. So
it's dripping out slow. Yeah, you can't go like that yet. But that's where we're headed. It's so pretty when you see, when we formatted it.
Already, it's coming out really good. I really like it.
Yeah, so good.
Okay, so now we know what we're driving traffic to.
Yes.
Evergreen content. The purpose, the type of content. Now, what advice do you have for captions?
Ooh, captions. Okay, so you can get an opinion to be anything on this. I mean, we went through phases where it was like a blog post in the caption. And then we went through phases where it was literally like a word. I don't know what that was about. I think that was like day one on Instagram. I was like, I'm not writing this. The blog's over here and the Instagram's over here. And then I think now I just really try to, and I think curating helps me so much because you're so close to your projects, and like I could write 4 paragraphs about each image that comes out of a project. I could tell the whole story of the person who lives there and why we did what we did and how that chair was a family heirloom and we recovered it and drove the whole design of the room, blah, blah, blah. I also think sometimes it's more about like that quick, here's a, peanut butter jelly. Like you flash an image to yourself and go, what comes to mind? Like what's the first reaction that I have to that? And I'm finding more and more and more as I iterate and refine that as much that you can just be your first gut reaction on why you chose that, if you can be really just clean and clear about it and a little crisper, and there's times when it runs on and is a bigger story, great, but it's just authentic, right? It's just, if there's a bigger story there, go ahead and write it. If there's a one line that's just sharp and witty and cracks, then do that. Like, I don't think the formulaic way of having it to have something is necessary. It just has to be you, right? It's that same thing. It needs to resonate with you. It needs to be your voice. The person who you are in social media needs to be the person that you are on your website, needs to be the person you are in your newsletter. And then when you show up on their front door and you're like, ding dong, decorator here, they're like, I know you. And you can't show up and be one person if you've been talking like somebody else the whole time, right? So when that happens, that is like the key, when they really truly feel like they already know you when you walk in the front door. And that's what this has done for me. I mean, go back to the early days of my career. I was introducing myself on the front stoop. They never seen me before. Maybe they saw some little picture on a web page or something. To people kind of already knowing where I'm from and what I like and what I'm into and my aesthetic, and it really does just catapult the whole process forward very, very quickly.
Yeah, definitely.
Won't it be interesting when we can ring doorbells again?
Touche. And cheers, you're getting a ton of agrees and hearts and thumbs up. So
Thank you, peeps.
Yeah, I think authenticity is definitely always go back to it.
Yeah, and for me, it's like taking away the rules and taking away the structure has allowed more of that natural sass that comes out of me come through, and whatever comes out of you naturally is fine.
It might not be sass.
Might not be sassy, I don't know.
So now we're getting into the strategic part. So if you're multitasking, come back to us. So let's talk about optimizing our post, Sandra.
Okay.
Let's start geotagging.
Oh. So do you remember when you first worked for me 100 years ago? And if a post went out and it wasn't geotagged, vendor tagged, hashtagged, I don't know, what else can you fucking
tagging vendors?
I just swore.
Posts. No, those are
the ones. Okay, but if a post went live and it didn't have those 3 things, I would like show up in the Monday meeting and I'd be like, sassy Sandra, I'd be like, why do it? Why do we do all this? Why do we do the job that's worthy of the photography? Then we pay the expensive, fabulous photographer. Love you, Mark. And then we have all this fancy software to track all this stuff and why do we do it if we're not going to do it? Like all the way, people. So, see, you never know what's going to get her fired up. But just don't like lob them out there like loose jello. Like just put some legs on that thing. All it needs is a location tag. I love to use the location I'd like to do more work in as my location, or the location where the actual item is from, or the actual image. There's nothing wrong with tagging the neighborhood that you're targeting to get more work out of. Then we tag any of our vendors that are to the trade only and that have our back, or that aren't to the trade only but really have our back. We will tag those vendors as well. We're giving artisans and makers credit for their incredible work. We are nothing without this like whole larger family of people who do all this together. So we are giving them credit where credit is 100% due. We always tag and credit our photographer. This is his life's work, right? You'd be amazed at how crappy my jobs look through my iPhone. I don't know. It's terrible. And then vendors, trades,
and
geotag,
and hashtag.
And hashtags. Okay, so hashtags. I'm not a big hashtag follower because I really like to curate my own feed, but a lot of people are. So you need to think about where do you want this image to show up in a search, like in a hashtag that someone is following. And that is like a whole game. There's whole companies built up around, doing your hashtags right. You do you. Like, again, how far are you taking this? Are you becoming an influencer? Are you going to be pay-to-play product placement girl? Or are you trying to get in front of your next best client? So that's how I look at it. I'm not going to pay someone to do hashtags for me because my goal is not to have 100,000 followers. My goal is to have 5 great clients. Okay? So that is why we just sort of fumble around in the hashtag field and do what we do.
But it does work.
It does work.
Amazingly.
I shouldn't say we fumble around. You are strategic. We do look at it. We are constantly updating. We are paying attention. We have the right software to like track them and capture them and have them ready to go. We're not fumbling around. Again, don't lob loose jello at me. But I'm not going like cuckoo crazy either because again, my goal is not numbers of followers. My goal is quality clients.
Yes. And I think it's organic. Like what we do not pay. The only thing we pay for is our software.
Right.
So it's very easy to implement in your firms,
right?
Too. What we're talking about,
and we use Later, right? Is what we were talking about. Okay, so we use Later.com to schedule out our Instagram posts. It is fabulous. It lets us see what it's going to look like. It lets us plan out ahead. It lets us refer back to that evergreen content, so we don't have to re-upload the image or go find all the stuff again. And it saves our hashtags. Now, again, you have to keep messing with them because if you just kind of have the same group that you cut and paste, the algorithm hates you. So you do have to keep acting like a human and not acting like a robot. You have to make some edits. You have to update things.
Yeah.
Same thing with blog posts. Google wants to see a new image there. They want to see, fresh eyeballs on it. They want to see updates to it as well. So we have to play nice with the bots, but we have to stay human.
Yes, definitely. And lots of people are saying, hello, Fabric Shield.
Hi. Hello.
Ron commented that he loves your work.
Thank you.
So
What's
thanks
happening?
everyone for joining.
Cheers. Please tell me what you're drinking today. Are you guys drinking? It's 4 o'clock in a pandemic. Of course you're drinking. Just tell me what.
Yes. Hard liquor, wine, use an emoji.
Tell me something.
Okay, so...
When I want to know if you're walking. Are you walking with earbuds in? I also want to know that. I'm a huge... I listen to video a lot right now because I just need to get up out of my chair. So, all right. Let us know.
Okay, and we got some wine, a wine glass. Using yours.
Nice. Hello.
Okay, so with the geotagging, tagging vendors, and hashtagging, we actually have a great tool for everyone.
Great tool. Do you have more to say about that, or do you want me to go on some randomly huge tangent because I love this thing?
So, no, you take it away.
Okay, so many moons ago, we decided that we needed... Do you love it when you're filming from home because there's a pandemic and somebody just ran above my head? There's probably sawdust in my head from my ceiling. Anyway, so many moons ago, we decided that we needed to take our obsession with systematizing and strategy to the next crazy level because we're always upping it, and decided to make this master spreadsheet. So every time we photograph a job, we put all those images into this spreadsheet, and then we go through that image and we note all the trades and vendors that are to the trade only or have our back and would never, not say, where'd you hear about us? House Funk, great, let's call her. And we tag all of those amazing trades and vendors. We note that in the spreadsheet. And then one of the things that I also love that we kind of are working towards more is noting paint colors and things because people always ask those things. So paint colors are the only one that we hadn't done from the very beginning that I think is a really helpful tool. And then we note the geotag that we're going to be using for it and the relevant hashtags. And so here's the deal, people. I look at that one time. And then for the life of those images, no one ever says to me, what fabric is that? Who did those window treatments? What paint color is that? What location should this be geotagged? Where was this done? Where was this project? That's it. Mm-hmm. Do you hear me? One, done, delegate. If you haven't learned anything from me, delegate. It feels so good. Get it off your plate. So this is amazing. And then once you put all those details together for every single image right after you photograph the job, when all of that is super easy to find, fresh in your mind or at your fingertips in your design software, then you're done. It's captured and it's set up for you. And then once you put it into a scheduler, if you use something like alater.com, then it's even more ready to roll, because then all that information is also saved.
Yeah.
And then really all you're doing is writing that tagline that goes with each image. You could do that too right at the time and have that be part of the spreadsheet, or you can let that be more timely and more conversational about what's going on in your life right now with a nod to why that image resonates with your comment.
Yes.
So right now we tend to keep the copy fresher and more recent, but it's often something is loaded. Like, I'm not looking at a blank sheet of paper ever. No. There's a draft happening by the time it gets to me, there's a draft that I'm editing.
Yes. And so if you want to delegate, I do our social for Sandra. I'm the one who delegates to, and I save every caption that she writes in a Google Doc, but now and later I just save it in the image.
With the image.
So when I go pull that image again, all the vendors are there, all the hashtags are there, and that caption she wrote once, she can just switch it up a little bit if she wants, but less work for me in the future, and obviously less work for Sandra in the future.
Right, and it's likely if I wrote the caption in a place of like, that's what I think about that image, it'll probably resonate with me just fine the next time it comes up. And then instead of saying, oh my gosh, happy Friday, thank goodness we made it, if it's not slotted for Friday, I'm going to make the appropriate adjustments. And of course, if it's 2020, I'm going to acknowledge the shitstorm that we're in.
Yes.
Period. Like, just guaranteed. So, you're going to make edits according to what's happening in the world.
Yes. So, before we forget, we are going to give this template in our newsletter tomorrow.
Oh, it's for you.
Yes.
Congrats. You get the benefits of our craziness. So if you go to houseoffunk.com/trade or little trade, I don't think it's a tab anymore, trade link, trade.
It's up in our right-hand tabs.
Right-hand navigation.
Yes.
To houseoffunk.com and then trade, you can jump on our newsletter list and get this spreadsheet all for yourself.
Yes.
So you'll have all the info.
Yes, so it's coming out tomorrow night. So if you're not on that newsletter by then,
jump on.
Yes.
Sorry.
So I love people are commenting what they're drinking. We have Faber Shield says, haha, coffee because I'm boring.
What? No, go get some Baileys and put it in there.
Chalet Mama says she's drinking sangria.
Now we're talking.
Style by Mimi says, when you were like, are you walking? She says, you're going to come to dinner with me in a sec because she's cooking.
Thank you, Mimi.
And
good to see you, by the way.
Providence Design Group says, Cheryl Conway from Providence Design Group, sipping Pinot Grigio poolside.
Oh.
Yeah.
You just took it up 500 notches. Are you hanging out with Martha Stewart? I saw she was drinking margaritas in her pool.
Yes.
How freaking sexy is that old lady?
I know. I was like, she just amped it up.
When I grow up, I want to be Martha.
Same.
All right. Well, at least we have goals, people.
Yes. Oh, and someone else wrote coffee. It's only 1:40 here. We half understand. Yeah. Maybe make an exception next Wednesday. But sometimes you gotta have the coffee. I have a strict 3:00 deadline cutoff for caffeine though. Otherwise I am like the Walking Dead, just wandering my house like zombied out. How about you guys? What's your last minute that you're allowed to have caffeine before you just can't sleep at night? I'd like to know that too. Yes, I love that question.
All right, what else we got?
So, I love this. We got a sidetrack question.
I like it.
From a designer. She goes, random. Ivy or Mydoma? With the googly eyes.
Oh, like... totally. I love it. Are we sneaking into that conversation? All right, the cat's out of the bag, people. I love Ivy and Mydoma. I think they're both amazing. can't say enough for Sarah Daniele, who owns My Doma. She's a personal friend and just an incredible human. I was a studio webware person for a long, long time, and I just had been there for a long time, and I was sticking with it. And I made a shift to having my accounting and bookkeeping outsourced. And so when I was doing the rounds of looking at design softwares the last time, because we make it a habit to do the rounds and see what softwares are out there and do trials for everybody. So the last time I did the rounds, I found a company that has a very simple, very stripped back almost design software, but in collaboration, they take care of all of the accounting and procurement. So they place our orders, they follow up on all of our orders, and they handle the freight. Like, we don't even think about freight until it arrives at our receiver, and then we get it from our receiver to our client. That company is Designer Link, and then the associated company that does the bookkeeping and the procurement and the freight, did you hear me? Freight, is Designer Advantage. And we've been with them for under a year, so that's why it's been under wraps for so long. I really wanted to give it a minute and make sure that I didn't find some big kinks or roadblocks before I shared it with you all. But as you know, I like to be out and proud, and that is where we are, and we're quite happy. So Designer Advantage and Designer Link, Google it and tell them Sandra sent you.
Yes, definitely. And keep your B2B business related questions coming.
Yeah, send me more. If we run out of time today, which I think we are because we're wrapping up, we will put it in the back and we will make sure we do an episode about it if it's a big juicy one. So
yes,
would love to hear more.
Definitely.
I hope that helps.
So we are nearing the end. I think the last thing we should mention is just we do track our analytics. Mm-hmm. We track how many what posts drove the most traffic to our website, so we could post that content again. That's email marketing, which we're getting into next week.
Check. Okay, so if you're in this world and you're feeling it, we're going to dive into that. Like I said, the goal is social to website to email marketing newsletter list. That's where clients come from. They pop out of that email newsletter list for sure. So if you're interested in knowing more about how we think about that, just definitely hang out with us next Wednesday as well.
Yes, definitely. And we should mention that we do dive into PR marketing a little bit more in the standard, and enrollment is opening soon.
Oh my gosh. I can't even, so again, time is like warp speed. I can't even figure out what just happened. When are we opening?
September 16th.
September 16th. Did
for
you hear that?
13 days only.
Okay. September 16th. We're open for 13 days only. And the demo module is live right now. Mm-hmm. So if you need to feel a little taste, confusion all the time. If you need a taste of what the standard looks like on the inside, you can check out the demo module. Again, houseoffunk.com, trade. You're going to jam right over to the standard demo module, and that'll give you a peek into what the whole structure looks like, what the inside looks like, just a little bit more about what that business program that's all about the back end of how we run our business looks like from the inside out.
Yes, so check it out. And also you could go direct to interiordesignstandard.com.
You could, but that's a lot of things.
Yes. And then we'll end this on one last question, which is, do you use a particular outsourced software to track analytics?
No. Okay. So we don't. We just, we've done some trainings on how to read the analytics that are provided for us in the various social media things. And then we lean heavily on Nicole from Curio Electro. Whenever we hit a social media brand analytic, my computer won't turn on, I don't know, anything, we lean on our expert in that field, which is Nicole. And if you haven't heard me talk about her yet, then you probably haven't been hanging out with me for very long. So, and so fun. I don't know if you guys follow our kind of potential client-facing newsletter, but we have such a fun throwback on our next newsletter. Did it already go out?
No.
Oh, okay.
That'll be going out like Friday.
So designers and potential clients, if you just happen to be sneaking a peek into Design Zips, jump on our regular client-facing newsletter list because we have the most fun throwback of some random thing that Nicole and I did together a million years ago coming out Friday. Just kidding. So you can jump on that list, of course, because what designer doesn't want to follow other designers to see what they're sending out to their potential clients to snag them and rope them in to be a client? I'd be following.
And the best way to get there is to take your quiz.
Oh, and it's fun. Okay, so it's a 5-minute quiz, right?
Yeah, or less.
Or less.
Yeah.
Depends how quick you are at decision making.
Yes.
It is visual only. It's a design quiz. You literally look at 4 images and pick one, and it's like a Horseshack. Anyway, it's a gut reaction kind of a thing, and it's a fun design quiz to see what your design style is, and then you'll end up on our newsletter list and have a fun sneak peek at some really hysterical old crap that went down when I was first in business.
Yes, so that's at the bottom of our website, housefunk.com. Just scroll to the bottom and you'll see it.
Yep, and that's just our design quiz.
Yes.
All right, y'all. I've said a lot of words, and now it's time to drink the rest of my wine. I hope you have an excellent, excellent hump day and you survive it. By the way, it's Wednesday. It's a PSA in case you needed to know. And I will see you next week. Cheers.
Cheers. And someone asked, will you be at High Point in the fall?
Heck yeah. Oh, if they're having High Point, I will be there.
With a drink in hand.
With a drink in hand. I cannot wait. We booked my hotel for every day that they're open, and will probably shorten my trip once I find out, where, when, who needs me where. But I can't wait. I hope I'll see you there. Let me know if you're going, okay? DM me. I would love to start to build the little community.
Totally. All right, Thanks for tuning in, guys.
Take care. Cheers.